you get into it and you're like, oh, I love this. This is awesome. Working out in the sun. Love myself a bit of hard labour. You do it for like a couple months and you're like, oh, what the fuck is this? Like, is this my life now? Just consistency. If it doesn't work out the first time, make it work. A lot of guys give up after like 1 week, 1 month, as you guys know.
What's going on, boys? Welcome back to the 1% podcast. Today we've got the one and only JMoss on the other end. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, boys. I'm good. How are we all?
Very well, very well.
Good.
So this is long and anticipated, so
Yeah.
I'm glad it's finally happening.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, boys. Thanks for having me on.
No, I appreciate it. I guess we'll just start. Just tell your story from maybe when you're in school to where you are now. It could be as long as you want, as intensive as you want.
Yeah, well, I'll start off by saying this is funny because basically come full circle. I'm obviously a content creator for all those listening that don't know me, at JMossMentality. And before I even started the whole TikTok and Instagram and posting the social media, I actually came across Nelson's TikTok where you were talking about tradies and whatnot. And
I think that's how, I forgot. I was going to ask that too, how it started.
Yeah. And then
so you found me on TikTok.
Yeah, I remember I just followed you because I was thinking this guy has like the same mindset as me, like doesn't want to be stuck in the trade, is teaching other guys like, there's more than the trade and whatnot. So I was like, oh, fucking same mentality, going to give him a follow. And then I started posting on social media, doing similar stuff, more fitness orientated at first, and wanted to level up my content, start speaking to the camera, grow a set of balls. And and I actually bought a course from you, Nelson, as well.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that. That's crazy. Was that the TikTok editing course?
Yeah, the virality hack or whatever it's.
Oh, that would have been about a year ago.
Yeah, and then the first video I ever made, it just fucking like blew up. It was like a Minecraft video.
Yeah, I had the source back then. Put the clip
bro,
underneath the subtitles. That was quality stuff. Actually, I do recall that now.
Yeah, so there you go. And then I just started posting content from there. And I know I don't really like to categorize myself. I guess I'm a self-improvement kind of creator, but I just do a bit of everything, and I try to be, in all the spaces, online business, fitness, whatever else is in the self-improvement niche umbrella. So yeah, that's a bit about me, boys. And I started off in the trade like you boys.
Everyone here,
Yeah, an apprentice landscape gardener. Hated that. Did a stint at a supermarket for 2 years where I was just working full-time hours as a casual.
Woolworths?
No, it was just a local and like an IGA kind of thing.
Yeah, I was going to
Woolworths. I did that.
Yeah. I think we all had the same bloody.
Very parallel.
Yeah.
Very parallel. So that's why I remember finding your content. I'm thinking, this guy, his stories, I've actually seen a bit of your story as well. It's very, very parallel, even growing up and all that. Because I heard your story a little bit, and I know you grew up with not a lot of money, sort of moving around and stuff like that. It's very parallel to our stories. So yeah, that's why I wanted to have you on. Did you always want to create videos, or was this something that you sort of just found recently?
Well, I've always been really creative, and I started off like I wanted to be an actor. In school, I did a lot of drama, and I was really good at public speaking as well. I was in the debating club, and I just always had a creative mindset. And then after school, I tried to become an actor, which is, I don't recommend that for anyone because, shit industry to get into. But then I was like, what else can I do? So I just started making content. I started off actually posting to a meme page because back in the day, I had a mate at school who allegedly was making $100 a day on a meme page, and he just uploaded a couple of times. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to jump on this, start uploading to a meme page, and it just didn't take off, didn't make a single cent from it. But that kind of like got me in the sphere of like posting online, seeing other content creators. And then I discovered people like Max Taylor, who were doing the comedy side of things, fitness. And I was like, okay, maybe there's potential here. I could start posting, myself online and potentially monetize it. That was the goal. So I started doing that. And then, just kind of like ever since then, it's just been finding my footing, getting comfortable on camera, trying to start a brand. So JMossMentality, and that's kind of doing well now. So that's great. And yeah, just from there, it's just building the business, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Like your growth over the past, I think, year has just been absolutely crazy. Like I've seen it, man. Yeah. I think I got in contact with you when you had maybe, I'm not quite sure, I think it was about 8,000 followers on Instagram or something, and then you just took off.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Like it's just like, well, I know I gained 20,000 followers in 1 week.
That's crazy.
Must have been, it must have been 3 months ago now. So it was like, pretty recently, but that's just the nature of the game. Like you can just blow up at any point, and it's like,
that's it, man.
You could have the best videos in the world, and you're posting them and get no traction, but one day you just take off. So yeah,
that's the thing that keeps you going too, eh? It's knowing that can happen, and once you get one small blip of that, you can't go back really, because you know what's possible.
That's it. You just got to keep trying.
What I noticed is you're actually like from the go, you were pretty good on camera. Like I noticed you have a really good way of wording things and getting a message across, and I think that's what's contributed massively to like you just blowing up pretty much instantly. Like,
well, I think video. I used to make like content. I look back now and I cringe at it because I wasn't being myself, and I was trying to go viral, and I was looking up, watching videos, how to go viral, how to get more followers, whatnot, incorporating these special secret tricks into my content. Just turned out really cringy. So one day I was sitting back, and I was like, I'm just going to try and be genuine, just talk into the camera, be myself. Yeah. And then that video just exploded. And that was the Real Talk series that I'm doing now, milking the absolute fuck out of. So
that's what you could do, man. Find the system that works and rinse and repeat. Yeah. That's all it is. I'll tell you what does work, because it's got in my head, like I always just randomly Real Talk. Real Talk. It's catchy, It's super catchy.
Yeah. No, that's good.
It's so good. Go Real Talk, boys. Get lunch.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's good.
Because it's catchy and it works. Like that's what's so good about it. I think that's definitely what's blowing you up.
Yeah,
because you've stayed consistent to that one idea.
100%.
I think that's what I found as well. Was just being authentic is what works. Talking to people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think you've done that just the correct way, perfectly. That resonates with people to the core. So
no, I appreciate that.
Especially since you actually got a crazy story, and you're an authentic person. So it's probably very easy for you to just be authentic on camera. Yeah, it's authentic.
Yeah, like people will say to me like, "J Moss, you have a crazy story," and like the thing is, I haven't even scratched the surface really. It's just like I had such an eventful childhood, such an eventful adolescence, and like I probably can't even say most of the shit that's happened in my life, which is unfortunate, just because so many people are involved. But like, if I can share like the important chunks, and that helps people, that's all that matters really. Yeah,
that's awesome. Another question I had was, so this massive blow up you've had this year, was that sort of in your head that was going to happen? Was that planned, or was this sort of just unexpected for you?
Well, always in my head I've wanted like more of a following, build the business, build the brand, personal brand. So I just knew it was a matter of time, like just keep tweaking small things, keep posting. Eventually one day, it will happen. I didn't expect it to happen so soon. I thought maybe like a couple of years I'd have, 80,000 now, nearly 80,000 followers.
Yeah, almost on 80,000.
Yeah, so
that's crazy.
It is crazy, and I didn't expect it to get to that. I was hoping like my goal was like 20K by the end of the year. So it's like, and the thing is, I'll talk about followers like they mean a whole lot, but in the long run, they actually don't. It's like the cult following you have is the thing that matters the most, I reckon.
Yeah, that's it.
Like you boys would know 100%. That. Like you don't have.
It's the quality.
Yeah, you boys don't have like Nelson. You don't have fucking 80,000 followers, but you have like you have like a fucking cult following going, and that's I'm part of that as well. So it's like
it's really cool. Yeah,
you kind of detach yourself from it when you get all that followers, and then it kind of instead of focusing on growing now, I'm actually focusing on just building the personal connections and the loyal fan base of customers. But
yeah, that's really cool. I wonder if you experienced this as well. I remember when I was taking off on TikTok, do you actually have people coming up to you in person as well? Is that something that you've experienced? I know maybe for TikTok this might be true.
Yeah, well, I go to my local supermarket and there's like lads that have just finished high school and they've just gotten down to the Banjo's Bakery and I'm just doing my shopping, come out of Woolies and they're like, oh, it's J Moss. Oi, the real talk guy, what's up? And I was like, how we going, boys? Like I didn't expect any of that. That was like the other week. But like sometimes I'll be walking home from the gym and guys will wave at me and I'm not sure if they're, recognizing me from online. But it's like, yeah, it's pretty crazy how much of an impact you can have by such a small series or, just showing up online.
Is that something that spins you out or do you like that sort of the people recognize you?
It spins me out because most of the time I'm like not expecting it and then I don't know what to say.
No, I'm the same.
Just go hella awkward.
Because you feel like you've put this sort of image up on your social medias and online, but so they already have a sort of expectation of what you're supposed to be. Yeah. That's what sort of wigged me out a bit.
And I go to the shops in my beanie and my like old AFL shorts and a singlet after the gym, and I'm not expecting people to say hi or come up to me. So it's like, oh, you caught me at a bad time, boys. Sorry.
And it's sort of weird how they even recognize you as well.
Yeah,
which is what was weird for me.
Yeah, I remember someone did that to us at gym, but except they just took a photo of us. And we were doing like split squats, and it was like one of the first time we were doing it, so our form was just like completely whack, and they've just taken a photo of us looking goofy as.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
It's like, look at Nelson Harley here.
Yeah, I'm the guy posting like muscle building tutorials and stuff like that. And I'm here like learning a new exercise.
And the thing is, it's all location based. So once like, you get well known in your community, and then you just branch off from there. I think that's the way to do it. Like you start off. I just optimize all my content now just for Australians because I know that's going to get the most probably engagement.
Australians resonate with Australians more too. Like it's more easy to connect with. Okay guys, quick intermission. I hope you're all enjoying the podcast so far. As a lot of you will know, we are not sponsored by anyone. Anything shown or promoted on this podcast was either made or owned by us. So if you are enjoying the podcast, what you can do to support us is hit that subscribe button and click on notifications if you're on YouTube. And if you're on Spotify, you can favorite this podcast so you don't miss out every single time we upload. A new episode is put out Friday, 6 p.m. every week. We talk everything self-improvement from gym, mindset, money, and we try and make every week as exciting as the last one. With that being said, all of the other links to our self-improvement clothing, our socials, and all other projects, it's all down below, so go check that out. But without further ado, here's the rest of the podcast. Thanks for watching. I just want to go back to the trade as well, because I know there's a lot of things that we would probably share or have in common. Was there, so with landscaping?
Oh, 100%.
How I've never done landscaping before. Was that actually a good job, or did you have a fuck this event where you sort of said enough's enough?
Well, classic, you get into it and you're like, oh, I love this. This is awesome. Working out in the sun. I love myself a bit of hard labor. And then like, you do it for like a couple months and you're like, oh, what the fuck is this? Like, is this my life now? Kind of thing. But I actually had a funny trade story because I was a super like smart kid in school. You could say I was a straight A student. And grade 10, like I was tossing up, do I go on the trade because I want to, earn myself some money, or do I stay on and like eventually go to uni through college or whatnot? And I kind of, through the holidays between grade 10 and grade 11, I wanted to try out this apprenticeship. So I worked pretty much full time. And during that, I basically decided I didn't want to do it. Like, fourth week in, I was like, yeah, I'm going back to school. This is miserable. But I kept working this trade during the weekend. So I would go to school during the week and then I'd have Saturday, Sunday working at this place. And basically I was just cleaning up after the boys who worked full time. So I was just carrying wheelbarrows around of gravel, spreading out dirt, watering the plants, just doing all this like shit that by myself, basically. I was a bit isolated actually, and it sucked a bit, but I listened to a lot of podcasts, audio books, where I could. So yeah, it wasn't too bad, but there was a fuck this event, and I think that was just like it was coming toward the end of school, and actually no, it was early days of COVID, and I got laid off because like the boss was like, bro, like I'm paying a fortune, not getting like any customers, so off you go, kind of thing. And then that fuck this event, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going back to a trade ever again. I'm just gonna, go to a supermarket job, or yeah. And I'm like you boys would probably relate. Like you just know you're built for something bigger.
100%.
Getting paid what $17 an hour with a sore back at the end of the day. Yeah, not enough time to work on yourself at the end of the day. Feeling buggered all the time. Getting looked down upon by your co-workers. It's just horrible. I don't know why guys put themselves through it.
I don't know why. I think it's glorified in school as well. Like I remember I actually kind of got hyped to leave and start a trade.
Yeah, I was excited. Yeah,
I was like, I can go on site, swear, and get smoking with the boys. And it's so glorified. And then I got there, it's like 6 a.m. I'm freezing. It's like
getting abused.
What the fuck have I got myself into here?
Yeah.
Did you have these massive goals during school, or did you not really know what you wanted to do?
I knew during school I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be like Hugh Jackman, Chris Hemsworth. And, coming out of school, I had that ambition still, but it kind of just wore off. But like, yeah, that sense of I knew I didn't want to be just an everyday 9-to-5er. Like I was like, anything but that. I'll be an entrepreneur. I'll be fucking, I'll be a boss of some company, but I don't want to be stuck in the 9-to-5 grind. Like, fuck that. So that was like, I'll do anything, basically. It was my mindset to get out of that kind of way of thinking, like the 9-to-5 mentality. And then I saw kind of like social media as a way to get into business, into, the one-person business, so I could not be in the trade or in the supermarket job. So, yeah, that's kind of like my trajectory after school. And I'm sure it's the same for you boys, like, not going back to the fucking 9-to-5. But yeah,
I think it's probably the same for us. Is even just seeing where that gets you, the 9-to-5, and I'm sure with your rough upbringing as well, that puts a fire under your ass. And I think that's what can definitely be beneficial about having such a rough upbringing is that it puts that fire under your ass that you never want to be there again. So I think it's sort of a blessing, and I think that's why you've succeeded as well so much, because you know what it takes. You can put in that hard work.
100%. Like I've always been a hustler, and even like every like I used to enter competitions at school because I had like special talent where I just learn shit super quick, and that's why I was a straight A student. And I'd go into these rooms with nerds and absolutely smoke them in competitions and whatnot. Like it was, I remember sitting around this table, right, for this essay competition, and there was this bunch of nerds around me. No hate toward them, but they were like, I was asking them questions and stuff, and they just would like taking the piss out of me because they didn't think, it's just JMoss. He's he's not going to get anything out of this. I don't know why he's trying. Ended up like becoming the my essay was so good. Apparently, it was like a World War One essay that they sent me off to represent Australia in the Anzac ceremonies in 2018, and I met the Prime Minister, and just like went on this crazy trip. It was all government funded, just because I was like really good at learning shit and just wrote a good essay.
That's interesting.
It was pretty crazy.
Weapon.
Yeah.
I just fucking, and that's the thing. Like as I was saying, like I just put my head down and did the work, but a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah, like what you were saying. We had the same thing, like those nerds in school but they're not doing very well now because they don't really have it. They're just geeks at the end of the day. Like a lot of the guys that we went to school with, they look down on us, but in reality, what are they doing?
Even the teachers.
Yeah, that's it. It's funny because I had friends at both ends of the spectrum, right? I was like, I was friends with everyone, but I felt like I didn't fit in any kind of group at school because I was friends with these guys that were like, into sporting, and they were really popular, and they were talking to girls and whatnot, and getting really social. And I had friends who were nerds, and like both ends of the spectrum. Like I'm still doing better than them now. Well, I'd like to think I am. And like one of my best mates who was like popular and a straight A student, he's now an SJ because
the natural
it's like
Australian,
you can't
just
really
look
predict
down
some
on
people's
everyone.
life path, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And going back to like I've always been a hustler kind of thing. I remember in 2019, I'd go to school. I'd go to school, and then on the weekend, as I said, I'd work 8 to like 4:30 in the trade, and I'd save like it was like $100 on average I was earning a day, and I just put it away in the bank, and that whole year saved up 10 grand, and I remember my mates telling me like, "Oh, how much money you got saved up from your job?" Because they knew how hard I was working. I was like 10 grand, and they couldn't fucking believe that I'd saved up 10 grand. They're like, "What? You can buy this, you can buy that." It's like it's not that hard when you actually work hard and save your money and put your money away and just like live below your means. It's not that hard to set yourself up, and that's what I've been doing. Like that's what I've been doing since I left high school, just trying to set myself up.
Yeah, it all depends on your habits. Like if you go to the club every week and that's $300-400, that's half your wage. Like it disappears. Oh, the youth market shaking up. Yeah, the advertising.
Yeah, repping. They're actually elite, bro. Good job.
Not bad. 800 mil. You fit a little bit more water in them. Mine hasn't broken yet. So
yeah.
Right. So were you ever like more of an extroverted person? Did you go out? Were you doing what everyone else was doing, sort of going out, or were you more introverted and just wanted to sit there and grind?
I was a bit of both. Well, I went through periods. Like I've always been like just a bit of, like during high school I was really shy. Didn't really open myself up to many people and kind of kept to myself. And that's why I won those competitions and just, would like smoke people in the classroom just because I just studied. I went home and studied. I didn't, go to meetups or anything with the boys or get overly social. Yeah. Started opening up because I was doing a bit more acting and like toward the end of high school, like grade 10, 11, 12, started opening up a bit more. But I wasn't into the whole like going out and drinking thing. I always knew it was like just, kind of just going to set you back more than progress your life forward. So I never really got into it. I did go through a breakup where I remember for 2 weeks straight, I was just like binge drinking and absolutely like doing anything I could just to get rid of the pain. Which is like not good. But like that's the situation guys put themselves in. I did it for 2 weeks and guys will like have some major event that impacts them and then they just go in this spiral and it's just like last year.
Yeah. And then it becomes habit and they just do it forever. Like,
yeah. And I know how that feels, like, because like it does feel good to go out on the weekend and, drink yourself silly and fucking end up in Macca's parking lot and, just in the, you know what I mean? Like it does feel good having that messiness and not having responsibility over yourself, but you can't get stuck there,
Yeah. It's especially with like wages, like even if we're talking financially, wages don't allow you to move anywhere if you do that every weekend. That's like one of the biggest things, I think. Like that 10 grand that you saved probably pushed you so far, so much further than like people realize. Just being able to save and not maxing out every week, that's huge, man.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I'm really big on, I say to guys, like, give yourself a 10K safety net. Like in the grand scheme of things, like if you have a 10K in the bank, you're going to be all right. No matter what you do. If you want to quit your trade, you got 10K. You can do, even if you like blow it all in the first 6 months, like you can just get back into the trade and save up again, And it gives you a lot of leverage as well. Like if you do want to chase that business or go on that trip, I think it's a good safety net to have. But a lot of guys can't even fucking like, I go to the supermarket and I'm doing pretty well, but like you buy 3 things and you spend $60. I don't understand how guys like tradies buy like a whole slab of Coronas every weekend, and then they buy shots that are like $10 each on the week. It's like how the fuck can you afford this? And you're like,
I can't. KFC every day for lunch. Like I don't understand how they can afford it.
Yeah, that adds up. The Zinger box is like what, $15?
Yeah. We've had people say the meal prep is expensive. I'm thinking, mate, that is
cheap.
It's way cheaper than buying KFC
Yeah.
or getting like some salad roll at your local, espresso shop or whatever.
It's probably because they look at it differently. Like when they buy it all at once.
Yeah. Yeah, they buy it all at
Yeah.
once in one
Instead
lump
of
sum.
looking at
Yeah.
it over, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like oh, you spend $100 a week on meal prep, but then they spend like $20 a day over 7 days.
Plus.
Yeah.
Or plus, yeah.
People will like give themselves any excuse not to grow, like not to improve themselves. They'll make up the stupidest mental gymnastics to avoid working on themselves or getting out of their fucking rut. And it's like, that's what I'm trying to teach guys as well in real talk, like a different way of thinking. They might not agree with it, but like I've had guys hit me up like tradies and been like, bro, you made me realize like I'm fucking addicted to weed and alcohol.
Yeah.
They didn't even realize.
Yeah, it only needs someone else to tell them,
Yeah.
Sometimes. That's all it is.
Having a lifestyle like that is so normal in Australia. It's like they don't even realise that it's such a terrible thing for them because so much people do it.
If everyone's doing it, why don't they just do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's so normal. It doesn't seem like a terrible thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is, I've found is like guys will complain about things being too expensive or they can't afford good food and stuff, but you can bet your top dollar, no matter what, they'll find money for things like booze, things like marijuana, games. They'll cough up money for fucking a game on Xbox, but they'll complain about, things being too expensive or meal prep's too expensive. So mental gymnastics people put themselves in is just pretty crazy.
It's crazy because like we could tell people that we spend like thousands of dollars on our first youth market drop, or every drop we do, we spend thousands. But then, they'll go, oh my God, that's crazy. How do you have the money to afford that? But then you just go, well, just look at how much you've spent on drinks or, like you said, like weed or something in the last year. It'd be more than that, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, 100%. They spend a fortune on it.
Oh, and JMoss, I was wondering about your weight loss journey. How did you start? What made you want to start that?
Oh, yeah. So I'll tell you boys, like my fitness journey, like
it's crazy.
Pretty crazy. Came out of school, I was a skinny kid. Like I was doing all the wrong things trying to build muscle, right? I was going on an hour sprint every day and probably eating sub 1,500 calories. 1,500 calories. And going on a sprint like an hour a night, tracking on Strava, trying to beat my record each night, thinking that's how you build muscle. And
I want to see skinny guys on the treadmill. I'm just like, no.
I don't think I was eating I was probably eating 2 grams protein a day. And it didn't help that I had a vegan stepmom who like just every meal she made was like just, you can imagine like it was just veggies and.
Yeah, like a zucchini stew or something.
The most like suboptimal foods you can think of and like meals. But anyway, like what I'd do was like I'd run for an hour and then I'd hit some calisthenics at the park, do a few chin-ups, do a few push-ups, maybe a few sit-ups if I was, feeling like it, run back home. And then I was wondering why the fuck I can't build muscle. I was like, what's going on here? Which is pretty funny because I was doing all the wrong things. But then I kind of I remember I was so hesitant to go to the gym. And again, I was doing mental gymnastics myself. I was like, I don't need gym. Calisthenics, there's guys that are jacked and they do calisthenics. I remember one guy who was trying to get me into the gym. I was like, nah, it's not for me. But it was just because I was scared. Like I was didn't want to take the first initial leap. Yeah. But then you go and it's like, you're nervous for the first few times and then you just learn like anything.
Yeah. It's like, it's become like, it feels like home now after literally just like a year of going to the gym.
Yeah.
Stop brushing
it's easy as now, but like when I first started, I was like, oh crap. It's kind of funny because you look back and you're like, what the fuck are you worried about?
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I spent my whole first year just training in my garage because I didn't want to sign up to a gym.
Yeah.
So many gains.
Like people go, oh, people are looking at me. It's like,
no,
they're not going to be looking at some like skinny kid. They're going to be looking at really jacked people. Just
they're not stressed about anyone else.
Worried about themselves anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's right. And started hitting the gym. Started doing my research. Like as I said, I learned things pretty quickly. So I actually watched a Jeff Nippard video about bulking, and basically the gist of the video was like dirty bulking is okay, but you shouldn't do it. Like you know,
Yeah.
You got to do it right. Like, you got to have a point.
Fuck.
But I missed the entire point of the video, the negative part. I just saw it, I watched it, and I was like, I'm going to fucking dirty bulk. Like, I'm going to smash Maccas every day, get as big as I possibly can. Yeah. So and that was part of it. I really wanted to like I was always a skinny kid, so I just wanted to like kind of prove that I could bulk up.
Mm.
And I was like, I'm going to get as jacked as possible, as fast as possible. And like, I just started consuming a bunch of protein every day, shit ton of carbs. Like, I could show you boys photos. I don't have them on me, but like my face started getting puffy, like fucking under the eyelids.
Yeah.
But I started getting pimples on my legs as well.
Yeah.
That's what
From all the
Yeah. Oils and shit. And it's just like, because the food you're eating, they just go like through you, like they just destroy your body.
100%.
I went down the same route as well, but luckily I like stopped as soon as I started. I looked in the mirror, I'm just like watery. I just look watery. Like, I have a little bit of muscle, but like, I just don't look good.
Yeah,
well,
it really shows in your face, like really puffy.
Yeah. Funny thing is, boys, I got to the point where I knew I looked like shit, but I was like, oh, it's too fucking late now. I might as well keep going. You know what I mean? I was like,
already.
Fuck it.
Let's be Eddie. Let's just be Eddie Hall or something. Let's be a strong man. Fuck the physique.
I remember I got like, probably like 86 kilos.
Yeah.
It was body fat, and I was like, oh, I look like shit, but look, let's hit 100 kilos and then I'll start shredding, you know?
Yeah.
And absolutely no clue what I was doing. Didn't help that I visited a nutritionist because I wanted to gain some clarity. And she was like, oh, you should go vegan, basically, she told me, and eat 3,000 calories a day if you want to lose weight. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I started this vegan diet, and I was eating shit ton of soy every day as well. Like soy milk, plant-based like meats that are like terrible, like
that's like the shit
processed.
Nightmares, bro. Fuck.
Yeah, I was living like a bloody, the most suboptimal, like opposite of Andrew Huberman lifestyle. like I was like a bloody like antithesis to Andrew Huberman, and it was just like horrible experience. Anyway, I snowballed up to 95 kilos, looking quite chubby. And then I was like, I really need to cut down. And then it took me like 8 months to lose 26 kilos.
That's pretty insane, though.
That's a lot of weight.
Yeah, it was a pretty like, it wasn't a crazy deficit either. It was just like I kept my steps up, ate pretty well, got off the stupid vegan diet. And that's another thing. Like, I remember I was crook all the time, and I didn't know why. But like, looking back, when you're smashing a whole pack of digestive biscuits every morning with your coffee, it's like no wonder.
That makes so much sense because I was getting sick.
Used to be
dirty bulking. Like I was getting sick like every 2 weeks. That makes sense now.
Well, you're not meant to eat that as a human. Like,
no wonder everyone's getting sick.
Like now that I've switched to like a carnivorous diet, like red meat, like
I never get.
If I do get a cold, it's like half a day, and then I'm over it.
Yeah.
When you just eat like a normal human.
Yeah.
That's funny. The thing you said, Will, in one of the previous podcasts was like, you feel so like optimal when you just eat beef every day.
Yeah,
like it just change your life, and that's like I love like just like sometimes I just eat extra lean beef mince every night, probably like half a packet, and it's just like it feels so optimal. Like you feel so good.
Or like a good steak, like with the healthy fats.
Oh yeah, can't beat that.
But like some people freak out when I say that. Like, where's your veggies? Where's all your? And I'm like, oh well, I feel good. I'm healthy. I'm like, I don't think cavemen were like eating broccoli. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
veggies are good for you, but I don't feel any better when I do have veggies.
Yeah,
it's like it's the same.
A multivitamin covers that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
just have some pills.
Yeah. What's the JMoss diet looking like now? We got a plan, or we just sort of eeting what's good?
I do this thing where I stick like to my calories. I'm on a cut at the moment, about 1,500 calories, trying to get this cut done and dusted. But I do this thing where I kind of like I eat. I like really dial in on my diet throughout the week, and then when it hits the weekend, I just like change it up a bit.
Yeah.
And have whatever I want, kind of thing. Not over my calories, but like, you know, just switching it out. But yeah, it's like I fast until 12:30, and then I have a coffee. No, I have a coffee in the morning. Sorry, and then I have my bloody shred matrix in my youth market shaker. Shameless plug.
Yes, sir.
And then I'd have. Oh, you know what I really love? Every day I have Greek yogurt mixed with some casein protein, and that's bloody. Oh, it's so amazing. I could eat it every day for every meal if I wanted to. And then just some type of meat in the afternoon for dinner with some veggies. So
that's
pretty
like
basic.
Optimal there. That's
I'm trying to get as optimal as I can.
Yeah.
I think people underestimate how much a diet can do. It's like the foundation of, how you feel, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think it is anyway.
That's why I always say, like, just focus on the basics. If you're in a rut, look at your nutrition, look at your working out. Are you working out? Probably not. So you should get moving.
Yeah.
Focus on like wealth in the sense that, like, if you're stuck in a shitty job and it's making you depressed, you don't want to wake up in the morning and go to it. Yeah. Maybe change that. You know what I mean? Like,
just maybe.
Yeah.
Guys will complain about their job, but like do nothing. Like,
yeah. But I feel so many people, like, when they got bad mental health, they'll look at every single factor except like the basics, like you said, like your health. Like they want, like that won't even be a factor. They'll just say, no, it's something from like, you know, ages ago when this chick did this to me. It's like you're not even going to the gym and you're eating shit food.
Yeah.
And
that's again like the mental gymnastics people play on themselves. Like they'll refer to the past, something that happened in their childhood all the time, to make excuses for their present. And it's like, I've been there. I've had like one of the roughest childhoods out of like people in my circle, and I never once use it as an excuse. I use it as a motivation and fuel to get better.
Exactly. That's what people need to do.
Yeah, for people need to do.
They need to focus on the other things to get out of it. Like, use it.
Yeah, people use it as like an excuse rather than as a fuel to like want to get out of that situation.
Yeah. More importantly, 100%. You can't change the past. So
exactly.
You know what I mean? It's done.
The future.
That's it. Change the variables you can control.
That's it. And people will blame their shitty behavior on like mental health and stuff. And it's like, at the end of the day, you're still responsible for your behavior, mental health or not. Doesn't matter what you've been through.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Like, that's right.
At the end of the day, everyone else doesn't really care about all your excuses and all the problems that you've been through.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly. All you can control is how you behave, like in that the current moment.
Yeah, 100%. Everyone's been through something, and it's like, you know, we could wear it on our chest and like tell everyone about it. It's like not going to change anything.
Yeah, exactly.
It's exactly. Yeah, some people, they need to definitely understand that.
It does sound harsh to say that though.
It does, but it's the harsh truth.
It's the truth.
And I'm all about guys like sharing their story and like their trauma and how they got over it and whatnot, because that is powerful and helps other dudes. But it's just the negativity. Like if you're using it as an excuse to drink yourself silly every Saturday and Sunday night, it's just like you really got to look at yourself. Really got to like straighten yourself out at that point.
Yeah. All it's doing is making a bad situation worse.
Yeah.
It's like you had a terrible past, but now you're fixing that up. Or you had a terrible past, and now you're making the future worse as well.
Yeah. It's like it's a rough world out there, and it doesn't help that the government doesn't give two shits really about people's mental health.
Yeah.
And like, you know, like guys in the trade might be suffering like depression and really bad mental health issues, and like who've they got? Like they can't tell their boss.
They're toughen up and get me the timber. Like.
Yeah. Can't tell their mates because their mates will be like, that sucks. Anyway, you want to come out on the weekend? Like, it's just like, you can't really blame some guys.
Yeah, or you're sad on a fun night.
Yeah. I mean, that was a thing that I've heard heaps of times. It's like something's bad's just happened and all your mates go, don't worry, mate, we'll go out drinking this weekend.
Yeah.
That'll make it better. Like,
so much better.
That's what ignited my 2-week bender after my breakup. Like, I was just like, oh, I'm really sad, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I'm heartbroken. And they were like, let's go out every single night, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was around mates, like a really toxic circle who they just did every drug under the sun, really. And I was like bordering on like, oh yeah, I'll try drugs. Like I'll do any drug as long as it, helps. I'm so glad I didn't, because like who knows what could have changed.
Oh
in
yeah,
those few nights.
It's spot out of control. That's why it's like once you try it once, there's like a 50% chance it could just be that's it for you. Like it's a wrap.
Yeah,
100%. It's like it changes your brain chemistry. Like that's why people get hooked on it. It's like going to the gym. That actually changes your brain chemistry, because you start loving it. You start getting endorphins, and you feel happy every time you go and refreshed, and then you just keep showing up when you get that feeling. So it's like, well, if you take drugs once and you get that feeling.
Yeah, exactly. And like, it's like people that don't go to the gym can't understand. It's like, how the fuck are you enjoying the gym? Like, that looks terrible.
Yeah.
But it's like when I think about drug addicts, it's like, why are you doing that to yourself?
Oh, exactly.
It's like, choose the situation you're in.
Yeah.
That's right.
Is that someone you wanted to be as well, JMoss? Is like a voice for the people stuck in the trade that are going through shit, and an alternative way of getting through it? Is that sort of what you wanted to be?
Yeah, kind of. I knew that like I could talk from my experience of like being in the trade, so I kind of used that as I guess like some content in my brand. I don't want to be known for the guy that like tells tradies they should quit their job, because like, I think that's just going to cause more problems and help my brand, because tradies are arrogant, bro. Like you can. True. As I said, they'll make up every excuse under the sun to justify their shitty position.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, you might as well just let them be and let them figure it out themselves. But yeah, like it's like I love just getting feedback though from the tradies that do listen, and they're like, oh yeah, JMoss, I am a bit stuck, and I got into this trade thinking it would be great, and my parents pushed me to do it, but now I just don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know what to do. And can you help me? And I kind of give them some advice on what they should do. But yeah, it is like good to talk about, I think.
100%. Like, even if you do get a bit of sort of backlash from people who don't want to change or whatever, maybe even that's worth it, because you are, being so positive to the people that do need to hear that, whether that comes with backlash or not, Yeah,
100%. And I actually, like, all my mates pretty much who I grew up with ended up being tradies, and I got a lot of flack from starting social media initially, because like, not like straight up negativity, but you boys would probably know, like some of your mates, like they just give you the
piss takes.
The piss takes, and like the passive aggressive comments and stuff like that. Like, I was at a party the other night, a house party for an old mate, and some of the guys I was hanging around with, they'd be like, "Oh, don't talk to us, JMoss. You're too TikTok famous." And it's like,
it's a massive
shut
stuff,
up, bro. Like, it's just the like, what do you call it? The tall poppy syndrome. Like, if you grow too far above the rest of the poppies, they're going to cut you down. So, yeah.
That's it, man. That's what I had to I had a massive friend group growing up. I guess you could say I was extroverted. I had a lot of people around me, but then when I started making this content, and I sort of noticed all that, and it was just taking away from my energy. So I basically just rounded up all the real ones, and I'll just grow with them, rather 100%. Than just tear me down. I'm sure you can relate. Like, people that don't align with your missions, just don't worry about them.
Burn the ship. Burn the ship. And I've had to do a lot of that. Like, I cut out a lot of my friends when I started taking social media a bit more seriously in my business and whatnot. Because like this, you can just tell they don't believe you and they don't want to build with you. So it's just F them off while you can. And then you'll find people like you guys are the guys I want to be connecting with, not like mates who don't 100%. See the real big picture.
Exactly.
And I've met heaps of guys through social media that think like me, that click like me. And it's just like, burn the ship while you can, jump ship, and then find some guys that think like you, and you'll actually start growing as a person as well.
Yeah, because they either drag you down or boost you. It's either like they're taking away points from you or adding points.
Yeah. That's it.
So I think it can be almost OP. Like, even because me and Will are brothers, we're twins, we're on the exact same mentality. It's like it's almost unfair because there's two of us.
It's
so
like
you can
OP,
just replicate
bro.
that in your own life. It's just awesome.
Yeah, that's it.
I feel like as you change though, like in this journey as well, you'll notice like I tried going to all like the parties and stuff with all my old friends, and it's like you try to hold a conversation with them. It's just like I don't care. They're two totally different conversations, and eventually it's just like you naturally drift apart anyway.
Yeah,
it's like the natural. I remember I just drifted apart from my mates. Really, I didn't really make a point of cutting them off, but they were just on different trajectories in life, and it's like I felt lonely for a bit, and then I kind of just sucked it up, and I was like, well, that's the life of an entrepreneur. Like, you just got to suck it up at the end of the day and keep pushing. And then I met Will, who's my business partner now. Yeah. We have a little thing going on, and he's like great. He's like, really, really switched on, intelligent in the businesses side of things.
Yeah,
I've met guys like you, boys, and like just guys on social media who they actually get the game. Like,
Yeah, it's definitely it's harder to find people like that. But like, when you do find them, it's just so much better than surrounding yourself with people you don't even resonate with. Because really it's wasting your time when you're hanging out with them.
Yeah,
and you just not even
100%.
Although it is hard though, if you've got like, I'm sure you would have some really good friends that like they aren't on the same journey as you, but they're good people. But I'm sure it feels like a bit of a drag.
Yeah, as I said, like I've had mates who, like I thought we were going to be mates forever, and then you just naturally break apart. It's nothing personal. At the end of the day, it's not personal. It's just different trajectories, and like I think every guy who gets into the social media game and puts themselves out there goes through like a kind of thing like this, because it is hard being a creator, especially in such like a small-minded society. Because people just think it's so foreign. Like, what the heck?
Especially in Australia.
This guy's not out drinking. He's talking about not drinking. He's talking about quitting the trade. What the fuck? Like, what an asshole. And it's just like, they it's just like the sheep mentality that they can't function hearing an opinion that's different from them, or seeing themselves or seeing someone else put themselves out there. It's just they can't compute.
Yeah, it's funny because I literally find myself in my videos talking about like the exact opposite, like talking against like what I used to do with my friends.
Yeah,
and then I'm just like thinking they're probably watching this video like, what the fuck happened here?
I feel like we're personally attacking them.
It's like I'm not even attacking you. It's just like I've removed myself from that situation. That's why I'm trying to like say like don't drink and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But these people.
I find it funny. Like I just brought up a funny point. This is nothing to do with my mates, but even your own family can turn on you. Pretty wild what can transpire when you just try to share your story.
Or just step out.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's the truth. Like, I've had a similar thing. It's like if you speak on your backstory, and like some people like that are involved in it, they don't want it out there. But at the end of the day,
that's it.
What happened.
Yeah, that's it, and it just makes you like think, oh, what maybe I shouldn't share my story. And then that's like, you shouldn't think that, because everyone should be able to share their story and, what they've been through online, I think. But yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah, I found your family, if they have a different opinion, they can change you easier than like your mates. Like if I have an opinion, my mum would be like, or my brother would be like, oh, I don't believe in that. And they'd like try start to change my beliefs just from telling me over and over again, that's wrong.
Yeah, well, it's when you're surrounded by them all the time.
That's kind of partly why I moved with these two. Because like living with my mum, I was like, no offense to her, I felt like I wasn't getting much shit done because she was like all so weird about it. Because like she has never really been into this much of self-improvement, like like fitness journey. She didn't like get it. Like she was just weirded out by it.
Mm-hmm.
The funniest thing when you try to explain to someone what online business is, and like they just don't know, like they have no clue.
It's so foreign. Like,
they're like, oh, it's not real. You're gonna fail. You're like chasing a dream that's not real. It's like, what?
I remember someone asked me the other day, oh, what do you do for work? I'm like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm also, I guess you could say, a content creator. I own a business online. And they're like, oh yeah, how much money do you make? And it's like, it's not the point. It's just like,
exactly. Yeah. I feel when you're your own company, people ask that question, but if you have a job, it's like rude to ask. I don't get that.
Yeah. It's just weird. They're like, oh, so is it like you make money per view? Like, and I'm like, no, like, it's like I just have a membership, and like we do some marketing work and stuff, and they're like, they just can't compute. And it's like, my point is, like, there's no point explaining to people the point of your online business or your social media if they're not in the game, because like they're not going to understand.
Most of the time we just lie to people.
Yeah. Or that, yeah.
When they ask, we just say like some normal job, like, I work at a factory, or I work at or something. And like, okay, cool. And then they move on.
It's easy to explain, eh?
Yeah.
I also feel like when they're sort of evaluating your worth when they're asking that question, they're saying, is this guy
legit or not?
Because your business and what you do is essentially your worth. So they're trying to evaluate that, you know?
Yeah.
If you say, not doing so well, they'll just go away. If you say, I'm doing great, they'll stick around, you know?
Yeah, that's a weird thing about Australian culture, I think, as well. Is like based off what you do. It's like, I used to get that a lot. I remember telling the people at the supermarket I worked with that I was, I wanted to get into coaching and fitness coaching and whatnot, but online. And they were like, what? How do you do it online? Like, that doesn't make sense. You got to be a personal trainer. You got to go into the gym. I'm like, no. So it's like you basically call them and they pay you per month, and then it's just like you can't explain that type of stuff to people that just don't understand. Or
there are some people that are open-minded though, that I'm sure you tell and then you provide massive value. You know, like plenty. You can change people's lives like that.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Like, there's people that are willing to like build with you, as I like to say. But yeah, I think like most of the population where I'm from as well, it's really bad. Like, I'm from Tasmania, and the thing about Tasmania is like everyone's super close with each other. Like, everyone knows each other.
Yeah, that's
inbred. No.
Mate. Yeah, pretty much. I'm
sort of saying, because I come from a country town, it's all just so close-minded.
Yeah. Like, most of the people from where we grew up are like, oh, yeah, footy on the weekend, and then straight after get on the beers and go to the pub.
It. That's the only culture.
That's all they do. Like, there's nothing else. Yeah. Like, I remember in high school, we were addicted to, like, flipping, like doing flips. And everyone thought we were the weirdest kids ever. It's like, just because it's not footy.
Yeah, like, why don't you just play footy? Just play footy. It's like,
no.
I played footy for 1 year. I didn't really like it, so I just stopped it. But all my mates who were like, loved it and played it like every single year for sport, they just looked down on me because I didn't want to play football. And it's like this sheep mentality. Like, it's a bit weird, eh?
I grew up playing soccer, and like everyone here thinks soccer is like this big sook sport, and I just could not, like, I didn't tell anyone I played soccer. I just said I don't play any sport because they're like, oh, you're a pussy. Like, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's the small town mindset. It's terrible, especially if you're trying to put yourself out there on the internet, and everyone in your town sees that and it just circulates. It's like, this is the one weirdo in the town. It's the small town shit. Like, hey, that's why I moved sort of closer near the city more, because it's just like you just feel so much less.
You gotta also like learn to ignore it, because you're always going to cop that.
Exactly.
What do you think it was that made you sort of different and push past those boundaries of, caring what people think? Was there something inside of you always that wanted to do something different and reject normality?
Yeah, I guess I think it just comes from my past, really. Like, I knew I grew up the eldest of six siblings, and like some of them were half siblings, but that that feeling of you have to look after your siblings and provide really gave me a drive to like do more and be more, I guess. And I was actually talking to someone, they were like, when do you feel the most loved? And I was like, I feel the most loved when I feel like I can provide for my family, for my partner, for like even my parents, my dad. It's just like, that's what drives me the most. I want to be able to provide for them. And like, I've always had that drive, not only in money, but like being someone that people can look up to as well. And I was like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. If I have to post on social media, it's like, I like posting on social media as well. I think it's like a good way to leverage like your personality and get yourself out there and build a business. And if you're trying to build a business in this modern day and age, I don't see why you wouldn't put yourself out there on social media.
It's almost a requirement, really.
Yeah, it's like it makes things easier, and builds that loyal following base of customers that can potentially be customers. I mean, but yeah, like going back to your question, I guess like I was so nervous to put myself outside of on social media at first, and I actually used to hide my account, JMossMentality, from everyone that I knew. And I'm sure you boys went through a phase like that. Like you were like,
very long
I'm just going to.
It's like should I create a new account that no one I know follow? It's like, and then I feel like the more you post, the more you get used to it, and the more you like, no one really gives a shit.
Like this is me,
this is just me. Like,
I remember sitting with my mate when I first started posting like fitness memes and stuff, and I remember sitting in the car with my mate outside like this shop, and we were just waiting for someone, and he was scrolling through TikTok, and one of my posts came up, and he didn't even realize it was me, and I was watching him watch it, and I was like, my heart sunk because I'm like, oh no, he's going to find my account and he's going to make fun of me for it. But he didn't even realize it was me. He was that like fucking. He was that deep in the doom scroll. Like
that's the antithesis. Like that is literally a death scroll. You don't even know what you're looking at.
So
it's your best mate on the screen. You don't know.
Did you watch the video or did you just scroll through?
The entire video. I didn't even know it was me. Like it was. To be fair, I had like a funny Chad filter on and stuff. But like still.
Still, what the fuck?
I think
I'm like sweating over
I actually recall, JMoss, I seen one of your videos a few years ago, I think, or maybe 2 years ago or something. It was a very broad video. I think it was the same one that you were talking about with like the Giga Chad face.
Yeah.
I can't remember how it was, but it got a lot of views. I think 4 million or something like that.
Well, I remember I milked the heck out of No Nut November. So I did like a Chad face meme thing, like Sigma meme. And I was like, day one of NNN passed, like if you passed or whatever. And then I just kept doing it every day. And like, I look back at that now, I'm like cringing so hard because like I brought in a lot of like just 16-year-olds and 18-year-olds too.
Yeah, just a very broad audience.
Yeah, just a really broad audience, and a lot of guys that just there's this obsession with some guys that they just really want to quit porn, and which I think you should do. But like that's all they're focused on, and they're like, I need to quit. It's like maybe do something else, and then you will just
get too busy or something.
Yeah. Well, that's what I do. I've heard you say it before, Nelson. Like you just make yourself so busy that bad habits don't even have a place in your routine. Like,
I noticed when people are trying to quit like a bad habit, they just try and stop it. It's like, but then they're doing nothing. It's like you have to fill the gap with something else. You can't just stop something and just do nothing. You have to fill it up.
That's it.
Replace it, pretty much.
That's it. And that's why like gym is like a good thing for guys as well. Like I would always tell a guy, hit the gym. I don't care like what advice you're seeking. Hit the gym first, then come back. Okay? So like, because it can fix a lot of problems, and you boys know that.
For sure. 100%. Even just going for a run, because you get that runner's high, you come back, like, what was I stressed about?
Yeah. For me, the confidence was a big one. Like, I was such a shy kid. Like, I would struggle to even talk to anyone. And then I started gym, and I just, just like this new person.
Yeah, you feel confident as. And even, like, when I was, like, 87, look like Jabba the Hutt on my dirty bulk, I still felt really confident in myself.
I'm a tank, like, fuck.
Yeah. Jabba the
Hut.
No, it's massive, and especially like the Saturday nights when everyone's posting on their Snapchat stuff at the club. They're at the club. Start to get that fear of missing out. I'm like, you could just head to the gym on the Saturday night. That's your event, and then you don't really get that fear of missing out anymore because it's like I've had fun on Saturday.
You've had your own event,
yeah.
No, that's true. I think I still like periodically, very rarely when I go out. It's always to celebrate something. It's not just because to go out for drinks. And I used to say to my mates, I'm not going out unless we're celebrating something. What are we celebrating? Because, otherwise I'm not going to fucking lose 2 days where I could be hustling because I'm hungover just for nothing.
Yeah.
And then but when you do have something to celebrate, it's just like fucking rewarding, going out drinking, getting a bit loose. And then you wake up feeling shit, but like, it was a good time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It was actually forced for a reason. Like most people just go, like, what are you celebrating? Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you celebrating?
Yeah. they'll be, oh, we're celebrating that the week's finished, and we have 2 days off.
Yeah, that's actually what they celebrate. It's like we got through another week
of just hell. Yeah,
of hell. It's like we better celebrate this.
I can feel for that in a way, though. But
it's tempting. It's tempting, especially when Friday rolls around. You're cool. I just need an escape. Like, let's hit the clubs.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a bit funny. I'm going to out my mate a bit here. But he actually goes out pretty often. But he went out one night and he got like gang bashed by 5 dudes for practically no reason. And then he still wanted to go out the next night.
Fuck me, man.
I mean, at least he's got that dog in him, you know.
He's dedicated
to the craft.
The girls would
like,
what happened?
Yeah, pretty funny. Guys just can't not go out.
I want to move on to the 3% club as well. I know you built that recently with Will. How would you describe the 3% mentality and what the club's about?
Well, we knew we wanted to start something and like a paid community, and the 3% came from like my mentality is that you got to focus on getting 3% better every day. Not just 1% better, because like, okay, that's cool. It's been taken by you guys for starters, 1% better. But like 3% better, you can maximize your health, your wealth, and your relationships, and that's what I boil it down to. Yeah, the 3 things that I think matter to me and have helped me.
That's usually what I section it down to as well when I give advice. It's like these are the 3 key areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what you said, that you did the 3% thing with the 3 sections. I'm like, this is just exactly it. Like,
yeah, because like 3%, I do 3 things every day that fall into these categories. I go to the gym, I eat right, I relationships. I'm always talking to networking, talking to new people, and wealth. Like I'm an entrepreneur, I'm trying to build the brand, build the business, and it's like. Yeah, those things make me the happiest, and they also make me feel like I'm achieving something. And I think that's where it came from, 3% better every day. And also like 97%, if you can't get into the 1% of people who are millionaires or like billionaires in the world, at least try to get 3%, like into the 3%,
Yeah.
Like it's not hard.
Just optimize. It's definitely not hard, especially when 99% of the people doing the same thing. All you can do is not do that for a little bit, and you've automatically entered that 3% zone where you're like,
100%.
It's so easy to get ahead these days because everyone is just like they're not doing anything. They're on autopilot.
100%. So yeah, that's where the 3% club came from, and we're still building it. It's pretty much a baby at this point, but just a nice little exclusive community.
What does the JMoss vision look like for the next, let's say, 10 years? What are your goals? Where do you want to get to?
It's funny. I told Will this morning, I want to be a man of the people. Like I just, I kind of like, I do like spitting that real talk to like the young Australians or the tradies, and just talking about current stuff that's happening and like giving my opinion on it. I think that's the direction I'm going to take it. And I do, in the long run, want to turn like real talk into like a men's foundation, like a men's mental health foundation.
Oh, that's actually sick.
Yeah. I've got to sit down and map that out, but I'd want like guys to share their story and kind of like, just help each other out instead of like putting each other down. And like, I'm not sure if I'd go the charity route, but like, there's heaps of potential there.
Yeah, I can definitely see that going big, like with the car stickers and shit. Like that's
young lads like myself, who were struggling, and then just expand the business, expand the brand. Pretty much it. I don't have too much planned. I'm moving to Gold Coast.
Sure.
Moving to Gold Coast?
Yeah.
I need to go up there, man. Victoria's too cold.
In Tasmania,
Are you in Tasmania right now or Sydney?
I'm in Tassie, yeah.
Okay. What's the weather like there? It's beautiful outside here.
Freaking freezing. Yeah.
It's like 20 degrees.
So it's like Victoria, but
we've got our first like good day like today. It's like 20 degrees.
The thing is, I like to say, like, people complain about Melbourne, but like Tassie is like just double Melbourne weather. Yeah. And then, that's Tassie for you.
do you get snow where you live? Like just on your house?
On the mountains. On the mountains, there's plenty of snow, but it did snow once where I'm from. I'm from Launceston, which is the second biggest city in Tassie. And yeah, it did snow once, which was pretty crazy. But yeah, only on the mountains.
Yeah, because I swear every Real Talk video, it's just belting rain. You just
he's got like the frost coming out of, like the smoke coming out of your mouth and everything.
Like, he's about it.
It's not just like
shake.
Yeah, extreme weather.
That's why I sent you that weather guard hoodie. I'm like, this man is freezing.
Get this man a jacket.
Yeah, I did need a jacket, so that was awesome. Thanks for that.
Yeah. I guess I'll wrap it up by saying, what would you say to the audience that wants to do something similar to you? You know, grow the social medias, grow the personal brand, be someone of importance. What advice would you give them? Maybe in 3 steps or 3 key things.
3 key things I reckon is, well, firstly, put yourself out there. Like, it's got to be done if you want to get into the game, like of what we're doing. You got to put yourself out there at some stage. You can't just hide behind a theme page, or if you want to build a brand, build a personal brand. Second is just consistency. If it doesn't work out the first time, make it work. The second time or third time, fourth time, keep trying. Because a lot of guys give up after like 1 week, 1 month, as you guys know. Third thing is just remain authentic. That's my biggest lesson that I've learned being on social media. If you're trying to be someone you're not, you just probably won't translate that to your audience, and you won't resonate with anyone. So just be yourself, spit the real talk, and you'll be successful on social media, I reckon.
For sure.
100%.
I mean, I've seen it with your content. Like, I saw so much potential in you when I first saw your videos. Like, this guy's going to blow up. And like, look at you now, like 100K on TikTok, 80K on Instagram.
It shows.
It shows. It really does. And that's why it's consistent through all platforms, because,
The funny thing is, like, you want those metrics so bad, and then you hit them and you're like, oh shit, it's actually not what it's cracked up to be, Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like,
I'm sure you felt that, Nelson, when you hit like over 100K on TikTok, and you're like, you get that initial high, but then it's like, oh, now what?
But you also expected it because you put in the work. You actively work towards that, which is what people don't understand as well. It's not like you just blow up and you're like, oh my God, no way. It's like, well, you did that,
You wanted it. Yeah, that's it.
So I think it's like up and onwards from now on from you. I think, honestly, I can see you just growing at the same rate or even exponential from now.
Yeah, that's it, boys. And same with you guys on this podcast. Like, fucking, you've done an extremely brilliant job of like just the poles in the background, LEDs.
We've still got a lot of improvements to do, but we're getting there slowly.
Yeah. It's better than most podcasts. Like that.
That was the goal. We wanted just a really cool room, but there's still heaps. We've got to hang shelves up, more LEDs, a bunch of different stuff. But yeah, we're getting there.
I'm keen to like redo another podcast 6 months to a year from now, see where we're all at.
100%. And I'll plan a trip, boys, and I'll come in and do it in real time.
Yeah, you got to come over here, bro.
Say we have to meet up and do like just content.
Hit
the
gym and everything.
Content.
An optimal gym sesh, get an optimal feed, then an optimal podcast.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Maybe when we're all in Gold Coast, we'll have like a penthouse suite. It's like a massive podcast room.
That's what I'm aiming for.
No, it'd be dope. You definitely have to come around, and we'll do a bunch of stuff. We'll go out, we'll film a podcast, maybe youth night, photo shoot, whatever.
Are we doing Cope
of the
Day?
Oh, yeah. Are you familiar with Cope of the Day?
No, Cope of the Week.
Cope of the Week.
Cope of the Week.
Cope of the Week. Didn't you just introduce this?
Yeah,
so basically it's just you're just showing a bit of humility by admitting one of your wrongdoings and then making up an excuse for it.
For the week.
Cope of the Week. I
don't think of one.
I cheated on my diet last night. Because
what did we eat, JMoss?
I went over to Dad's. We had I swear I had like 2 kilos of cooked salmon and like some potatoes and.
That's good. Salmon's good.
Yeah. Then I smashed like a whole bag of those new donut twisties.
Oh, there we go.
Just because I was hungry. That's
Saturday
all.
night. We'll allow it.
What's yours, Nelson?
Mine, I don't actually know.
Mine's always diet related.
Yeah, it's always going to be diet related.
No, I got one. Okay, so I was planning on doing an ice bath this morning.
Oh yeah,
but
we didn't do it.
I forgot to do it. Well, I didn't forget, but I was like, I can't be fucked driving down to buy like 3 bags of ice, then come back home and put it all in the fucking bath. Like I was too much of it. Oops. So no ice bath. So it's not an optimal morning today.
No, that's a cope.
I guess I just the only cope I've got isn't that bad, but I skipped boxing because I just wanted to work on the clothing. You know, I didn't need to work on the clothing, but I wanted to. So
that's fair. That's fair.
But that's not that bad, is it? Like, really? Anyway, JMoss, I reckon we'll wrap it up there. We're verging on like an hour or something.
Sweet.
Did you enjoy the episode?
Fucking brilliant, boys. It was good to finally be on here. And I just so you guys know, I listen to every podcast, and like I really
that's fucking awesome. Appreciate that.
Yeah. That's
in the gym.
That warms my heart.
It does. It's like knowing that people actually listen to the whole thing.
Legit, I told Nelson I was listening to it in the gym instead of music, and it was probably a better gym experience like than listening to like any other type of music. And also, there was a few things that Rory said that just cracked me up. I can't remember what.
Well, Rory's a pisser. He just
So I was just standing there doing like chest press and just laughing my head off, and then people looking at me like, "What the fuck is this guy laughing at?" But yeah, it was good. I love it.
1% crew came to the workout. All right, brother, we'll let you go. I appreciate having you on. And
thank you, boys.
Down and catch up.
Yeah,
100%, boys. Make it happen. Yeah, 100%. All right, boys. Thanks so much.
Catch
up with you later.
Bro.